been a bit. Whoops. Honestly, this was supposed to be uploaded a long time ago, but I got super sick, which pushed all of my videos back. Obviously, I didn't eat enough dirt as a child to build up an immune system, so now even a cough in my general direction will put me down for the count. Last time we saw Mualani, she helped Lumine in finding out her brothers, the prince currently working with and overseeing the Abyss Order. He encouraged her to continue her journey, well, sort of, and so our next task is getting to Inazuma. Unfortunately, while Sharky can make good distance in Natland thanks to phlogiston, this does not apply to the rest of Teyvat, and we have to find a proper way to Inazuma. Down at the docks, Atsuko suggests we go find Beta in the Alcor. Mualani's Night Soul Blessing state, like all the Natland characters, is much shorter outside of Natland, so I wasn't sure if she'd be able to make it to the Goyonstone Forest easily. I made sure to have her stamina completely full, so at least if Sharky can't make it, we stand a better chance of swimming the rest of the way. Unfortunately, it still wasn't quite enough. Luckily, Chongyun's birthday had occurred prior to this, so Mualani took a swimming break just to tread water and enjoy some good old cold noodles so she could make it the rest of the way. Whatever works, I guess. Arriving at the Goyonstone Forest, I very quickly realized I hadn't ascended Mualani yet, but the world level automatically increased, meaning while she was still level 50, even slimes were now level 47. For the first time in any of my challenges, I made a smart decision and made sure to at least unlock the teleport waypoint before heading to Natland to farm for her ascension.
I have to do this, okay? I have to.
Alright, well if you gotta get good at something really fast, there's only one way to do it. Come on! The day is approaching to give it your best, and you've got to reach your prime. That's when you need to put yourself to the test and show us a passage of time. We're gonna need a montage. A sports training montage.
After our training montage, we ascend Mualani, return to Goyonstone Forest, and head to board the Alcor. Mualani meets with her banner buddy, and we agree to the Crux Clash in exchange for not having to brave the storms on a blow-up shark. Lucky for them, Mualani is very experienced in tournaments. But the prize for winning this one isn't getting sent into the abyss to your possible death, as far as we know. Lumine makes easy work of,
as a high achiever by nature,
but has a bit of a tougher time with,
I'm sweating all over.
To be fair, level 40 Lumine with a dull blade versus a level 90 giant with fists bigger than Lumine's face feels, well, let's just say the odds were stacked against us, but we still pulled off the win. While we wait for the finals, Kazuha gives us a second training montage, this time by beating up slimes. My absolute favorite thing with this challenge is whenever Mualani is able to beat an enemy with Sharky, and she just... iconic. But it also kind of reminds me of that OMG a hit tweet meme. We return to the tournament just in time to find out our opponent has run away with the prize we weren't playing for. You know what? A win by default is still a win, so let's go to Inazuma, yeah? No? Alright, fine. Kazuha stirs up a wind current so we can catch up to the thief, and after beating up some treasure hoarders before Kazuha even gets a chance to speak,
In which case, please stand back.
we track down Faye the Flyer. As a nice treat, I'll share the entire unedited fight with you all.
I'll have my revenge.
You wanna see me do it again?
With the Masterless Vision back with Kazuha, we return to the arena and complete the prologue. Returning to Liyue Harbor, we say goodbye to Catherine, embarrass ourselves because she'll be at the Adventurers Guild in Inazuma 2, and get to start Act 1 with a bit of a stumble. Oh well. It most definitely won't be the last time we embarrass ourselves in this game, and honestly probably won't even be the last time in this video. We rendezvous with Beto and begin our journey to Inazuma. Once we meet with Toma and check in with immigration, I decided to see if I can plausibly leave Rito as long as I avoid the beach. After all, there's a wave rider on this island, so I could just take that, right? Well, I guess now we know why Wave Rider is over on the island and not on the beach. Back with Toma, we check in with the Outlanders Affairs Agency, and our initiation begins with helping solve tax fraud. Listen, I can't even file my own taxes without fearing the IRS. What makes you think I can help strangers in a foreign country? After some failed attempts at negotiation, Toma suggests we bully the Crystal Marrow dealer.
Xiao, lanterns. I'm right there at the lantern right.
Well, to be fair, it is happening right now. Werner tells us he's working for a guy named Keijiro, and despite how many times I've done this sneaking challenge, I keep getting progressively worse at it. How humbling. Keijiro broke rule number 1 of crimes, never write them down, so we take advantage of that and confront him with Kurisu. After a debatably successful confrontation, Toma pulls us to the side and explains his true identity and the goals of his boss. To save an hour of our time, we make the executive decision for Lumine that we're gonna help Toma and Dayak.
These games before!
The illusion of free choice ends in Inazuma, and Lumine outright rejects Toma and Ayaka. Unfortunate. Stuck on Rito, and without our fixer to schmooze people on our behalf, we have to go to the head of the Kanjo Commission directly to ask for help. The commissioner gives us 2 options in exchange for getting a travel permit, picking 300 flowers or delivering 709 letters. Maybe we can just skip to Sumeru and circle back to Inazuma at the end. However, Chisato, the commissioner's daughter, presents us a third option. Be gay and do crime. Or, well, something like that. In order to get off Rito, we're tasked with helping escort a transport balloon. Hoyoverse knew everyone skips this daily commission, so they simply gave us no option. Figures. My last video, the start of Kaniche Only, did better than any of my other videos have done upon release, which was actually kind of shocking. The funniest part, though, to me, is I apparently ruffled some feathers with it. I expected Arlecchino or Wanderer fans to be the angriest over my horrendous playing of them, but it turns out Kaniche was the one to really irritate people. To play devil's advocate, I feel like most content creators are in the top percentage of skill, and perhaps even play other, far more battle-intensive video games, so they tend to draw people with similar skill sets. As such, seeing someone actively much worse at a game than you are probably ignites some rage. Maybe some people think this is rage bait. Unfortunately, I hate to break it to you all, but I am just that bad at Genshin. I have so many of the top meta characters and their signature weapons, but until I got Kaniche, my highest crit damage was maybe 150,000 at most, and I was proud of that. Even now, my highest is like 250,000, so it's not rage bait, I'm just generally not good at this game. However, I still find it a lot of fun, and there's still so much to it beyond just getting the highest numbers, so those numbers really don't make much of a difference to me. Having successfully guarded the balloon, we surf to the city and go find Toma. He gives us a brief tour and brings us up to the Kamisato estate to meet Ayaka, sort of. She assigns us the task I was trying to avoid, but I guess Lumine is as much of a sucker for punishment in these challenges as I am, so here we are. Up first is Tejima, and despite protecting the village all this time, he has no recollection of why he's even in Konda village after losing his vision. Lucky for us, there's 3 conveniently placed clues on the property to help us piece together the story. First is the diary, which is unfortunately about as juicy as a raisin. The second clue is an omamori, which we collect to help us track down the final clue, a box. Well, a box with a letter. This quest does make me a little sad, thinking about how he spent 30 years waiting for someone just to forget in the end because he lost his vision. It's also unfortunate that we never really get any sort of conclusion with these characters, except somewhat Domon. I think that would really have tied the entire Archon quest together, personally. I mean, sure, you can go find them after Act 3 and talk to them, but I feel like maybe having included them in Raiden's story quest, or even as part of the scene once the Vision Hunt decree ends, would have been really nice, but maybe that's just me.
No one asked you anything ever, so whomever's name is Toby, why don't you take a letter opener and stick it into your skull? Hey.
Moving on, it's time to head to the second former vision bearer, Kurosawa. After seeing 2 guys harassing him, we're prompted to take exactly 0 steps and just interact with Kurosawa to continue the dialogue. This definitely could have all been done in one. After the dialogue, we head to the beach to take on the treasure hoarders. Okay, so maybe Mualani with this weapon is a little bit overpowered. We go back to the city and talk with the shop owner, Aoi, who absolutely unloads all the gossip on the former vision bearer. Even before finding out he lost his memories, she just drops everything on us. With a lot of new information, but 2,000 less Mora, we go find Kurosawa to share the information we found out for him about, him.
Who are you? I don't care whether you're trespassers.
Ah yeah, we're definitely trespassers. Can't you tell? The way we snuck onto the property from the front and approached to talk to you. So sneaky. I feel like this is one of the few times the Traveler opts to lie versus just sending them into next week with a fight. Maybe they're tired after all the fighting we did in Liyue. Understandable. After standing here and staring at Junya for almost 18 hours, it's time for the exorcism. We follow this guy, who must be Junya, because they're wearing the same outfit.
That makes sense to me.
Unfortunately for us, we were bamboozled by the Junya cosplayer, who is in reality just a little too obsessed with Domon and probably was trying to take Junya's place, or something like that. We return to the real Junya, who invites us to join the group on a trip to the Great Narukami Shrine to meet Yaimiko. Unlike previous parts of this quest where they just auto-teleport us, we have to find our way up to the shrine ourselves, which also means a lot of going to the wrong mountain, or the wrong floating rocks, or the wrong shrine gate. After 3 to 5 business days, we finally make it up to the shrine. Yaimiko observes as the 2 men have a heartfelt reunion, probably brainstorming for a future light novel. With our mission successful, we return to the Kamisato estate, finally meet Ayaka face to face, and she decides further discussions are best left for the tea house, which, I mean, shouldn't it be a concern if a tea house is more secure than, you know, your actual house? Oh sure, now we can auto-teleport. Ayaka directs us to meet the daughter of the Nakanohara family, after a lot of lore dropping about Inazuma politics that went straight in one ear and out the other. And after a questionably angled introduction, Yoimiya joins us with a mission to break into the jail and rescue Master Matsukatsu so we can keep making fake visions. We find out the police station is actually just a mini infinity castle, and we have to find our way through. Fantastic. I haven't gotten any comments complaining about my yapping segments, so I'm just gonna keep doing them until I start getting those comments. Recently, when thinking about what challenges I should do next, I realized some people may be confused about why I even do these challenges when I'm not, you know, all that good at Genshin, or why I don't speedrun the challenges. My goal with these challenges has never been, and will never be, who can finish the game the fastest or with the most damage, or anything like that. My primary goal with these challenges is learning how to play with the characters, and bringing you all along the way with me. When you reach endgame in Genshin Impact, it's really hard to figure out how to use new characters with your teams without having to dump a ton of time and materials into them to level them enough to, well, survive your world. That was what actually burnt me out of Genshin years ago when Sumeru came out, because I was trying to learn how to use new characters with increasingly complex kits, as well as a new element. Being able to learn how to use a new character in early game when you don't have to invest a ton of time into them has made a huge difference for me in understanding how the character's specific kit works. On a similar note, I think my long-term goal for this channel might be trying to make a solo challenge for every 5-star character, and maybe eventually 4 stars too. Obviously that will take a while because there are currently 93 playable characters, 91 if you exclude the Traveler and Alloy, and new characters get released with a relatively high frequency. If I do, should I continue my multi-episode challenges? I have a handful of characters on solo accounts already that I can start a run with and just slowly chip away on, with a plan to upload the full challenge later in the year, or I can keep with episodes. The episodes obviously have more detail of the playthrough, since I'd likely want to keep a 1-episode challenge under an hour long. Let me know what you guys think. With Master Matsukatsu safe and out of prison, we return to update Ayaka and Toma. As a result, Toma suggests a very questionable food game. Listen, I love Hot Pot as much as the next person, but I'm not much for experimenting with food. I think I'll sit this one out. With Toma crowned the winner, for better or worse, of the Hot Pot game, we wrap up Act 1. Up next is starting Ayaka's story quest, and I realized in this moment that Inazuma, technically speaking, is pretty much 6 acts, which is the longest of any of the nations. Well, so far. We have the prologue in Act 1, and then are forced to do Ayaka and Yoimiya's story quest before we can continue, so if it's required, it might as well be counted. No wonder Inazuma always feels so long. That said, Act 2 is super short, and in terms of pure length, Sumeru still is the longest by, well, a lot. Well, according to a chart I found online. I've actually only completed Acts 1 and 2 of Natlan because I know doing the tribal quests is ideal for the best experience, and I haven't had the time to actually sit down and enjoy it. Maybe one day. After a quick stop at the textile store, we head to Rito, say hi to the cat, and go find Kurisu. Mr. Can't Catch a Break Kurisu informs us he's been robbed blind. Again. And truthfully, I'm wondering if we should start charging a fee for being the real fixer of Rito. We track down the thieves, and despite the big talk from this Ronin, we one-shot them. Back in Inazuma City, we make some pizza, without the long detour this time, and have some dinner with Ayaka. I think this section with the rocks is the only thing I've improved on with these challenges. At least I know how to do it correctly now, and I don't aimlessly run around the area looking for rocks anymore. I guess Tsubaki was the one Tejima was waiting for, since they have matching boxes. Seems legit to me. We join Ayaka at the festival, this time with our little fire sprite friend. Honestly, this guy is my favorite little addition to these quests.
I wouldn't expect you to know this, but the Yashiro Commission was very good to my uncle on my father's side at one point in time. Thinking about it?
After walking Ayaka into the woods and leaving her there, we complete the story quest. Up next is Yoimiya's story quest, aka the Tumblr feed of the early 2010s. Mustaches everywhere. I vividly remember having a Wish.com feed full of just mustache merch. Thankfully, I didn't buy any of them. As much as I love Yoimiya, there is nothing that can convince me to do a detailed explanation of this story quest again. It gets the Liyue Act 2 treatment. Sorry, Yoimiya. TLDR, childhood friends, slow burn angst, right person, wrong time. You get the picture. I will, however, include the fact that I was able to clean up this old couple's yard with only Mualani, and the 2 fights, because the first round of soldiers took less than 30 seconds.
I must withdraw.
Amazing.
I must withdraw. I must withdraw. I must withdraw.
And the battle with Keisuke took even less time.
Back up! Those are supposed to be one-on-one! All right, that's it! Let's help Yoimiya! We can't let her fight the whole room! Oh, chill out! Carving waves!
With that, we've completed completed Yoimiya's quest, so now it's time to return to the tea house for Act 2. More importantly, it's nearly time for our meeting with the Raiden Shogun. Ayaka informs us about Tomo's current predicament, so we surf over to the statue of the omnipresent god and begin the cutscene. This is still such an iconic scene, and it's disappointing that the collective community views Inazuma's story so poorly because it has so many absolutely peak moments. I kind of feel like Inazuma, being so highly anticipated since it was the first completely new nation to be released since the game's start, was kind of set up for failure since there were so many mechanics that Hoyoverse just didn't have figured out until later patches. Inazuma feels very much like that one Dance Moms audio.
On the bottom, Paige, you were good. I'm waiting for you to be great.
The story had potential, but so many things that could have enhanced it just hurt it in the end. It's part of the reason I really like what Star Rail is doing with the Trailblaze continuance, because the Lofu had the same problem, but the continuance made a world of difference. Inside the plane of Euthymia, it's time to see how Mualani does in her first fight against the Electro Archon. Honestly, the toughest part of this battle is the fact that A doesn't really remain in one place very long, and with how short Mualani's Night Soul state lasts, it makes it really difficult to charge with the 3 hits. I was debating a Yap section for this part, but I realized I already have a few in the video that I wrote before this section, so I'll make it quick. Mualani did surprisingly well with A, considering the previously mentioned problem, as well as the fact that being a close-range fighter is not ideal for this fight. And you know, I have to wonder, are there any people who have actually defeated her during this section? Does it just force you to die? Then again, I guess most people do this battle with, you know, a full team, so that probably makes a major difference. Having escaped with Toma's help, we return to the tea house and make a plan to go find the resistance forces. After some not-so-subtle spying, it's time to rescue Tepe. I was unfortunately unable to one-hit, mostly because I was already in Night Soul Blessing state when I approached, and the sunset was kind of blinding me, but once my cooldown was over, I managed to finish them off and successfully save Tepe. As thanks, he suggests we join him in returning to the Resistance Force base camp, which saves us a likely ambush if we just pulled up unannounced and alone. We meet everyone's favorite dog boy, or at least my favorite dog boy, and once he accepts us into the Resistance, we immediately are given tasks to complete. Are we sure this isn't hazing? Opting to make our escape and avoid the busy work, we return to Mondstadt to... Actually, you know what? I'd rather do busy work and get struck by lightning than play a Genius Invocation TCG. Let's go back to Inazuma. We help out at the hospital, I guess, and head over to the archery demonstration. I saw a comment suggesting I can use the Wind Blessed Harpastum for physical damage and aiming, allowing me to complete this challenge completely alone. I decided to test the theory. Unfortunately, my brain apparently short-circuited because I started targeting the red dummies. You know, the ones we're not supposed to hit. Unfortunately, it did not do any physical damage, so back to plan A, baseball. Okay, plan C. Call the general for help.
Pressure getting to you?
Well, that was unfortunate. Finally, after several attempts, we complete the archery demonstration, so now we can go beat up the Shogunate army in record time and fix the fence. Our hazing, I mean initiation rituals, are successful, so we're invited to the front lines to prove our skills in a large-scale battle. This fight would have been absolutely perfect if the trailers took long enough for her weapon passive to reset, but we still one-shot the first person.
Of the almighty Shogun!
Almost one-shot the second.
There's more than one round! Keep it up!
And the third, well, it wasn't a challenge at least.
It's not invincible. We can win. Soldiers are rallying. Your warrior's will is...
With this, we trigger the cutscene, meet Kokomi, and complete Act 2. Moving straight into Act 3, we meet up with Tepe and hop on Wave Rider to head to Watatsumi Island. We arrive at Watatsumi Island and are given the title of Captain of Swordfish 2 and a group of soldiers to oversee. Do we actually, see these soldiers? Well, spoiler alert, no. We show off to some of the top members of the group and then never see them again. I can kind of understand some of the complaints about Act 3. After completing our mission of fighting the Ronin throughout the island, we return to Kokomi, who quickly assigns us another task. I didn't realize I signed up for TaskRabbit. That's crazy. Skipping a bunch of dialogue, we head to investigate the ruins, which means I unfortunately have to seek Lisa to help out. Maybe one day I'll have an Electro character for one of these challenges, so I can complete this without help. I still don't know why I struggled so much with Wanderer here. Probably his mom's doing. But we have no issue this time, so now it's time for our fight with the Law Trail. This fight went as smoothly as it usually does. If anything, Mualani was less tanky than usual. At least Sharky found the target this time. We return to update Kokomi on our, well, lack of findings, and stumble onto a discussion that's probably above my pay grade. Oh wait, I don't get paid. Well, I guess time to join in. Goro explains to Kokomi a strange aging problem among the soldiers and reveals the secret weapon behind it. Oh dear, indeed. I know I've already complained about this death a lot, but I generally think this could have been fixed with a show don't tell cutscene. I teared up at the end of the Sacred Sakura cleansing quest cutscene and outright cried with the Through the Mist ending, so it was obviously possible to make an emotional death in Inazuma. But I just personally never got attached to Teppei, and it makes me understand the disappointment with how the Inazuma storyline went. I don't like complaining much because I genuinely still love Inazuma and Genshin as a whole. Well, obviously, or I wouldn't be replaying the game so much. But I can also understand the complaints for Inazuma. I do think Hoyo has drastically improved their storytelling, but it is unfortunate that Inazuma ended up as collateral damage. Mualani surfs her way over to the Delusion Factory, so now it's time to take on some Pt.2 and do another yapping segment. More specifically, a yap segment about yap segments. Call it Yapception. Anyways, the primary reason I do these yap segments is because in my opinion, it would be pretty boring to see me explain the same domains all the time. But at the same time, I don't want to skip the fights we do get to do or speed them up because that's not much fun in my opinion. And this video would be like 5 minutes long if I did that. Hopefully, if you watch these videos while eating or while doing homework or even while gaming, these yap segments give something to enjoy even if you aren't fully paying attention. I know realistically not everyone watches videos hyper-focused on it the entire time. I know I sure don't. So I try to toe the line between things you can enjoy if you are paying attention and primarily focusing on the video, or if you're half watching, half listening. Whenever I'm recording footage, I always have something I'm watching on my second monitor, so I try to make videos that are good for doing that. Though lately, I've been watching One Piece from the very beginning. I'll update in a yap in 3 to 5 business years when I catch up on that, if I ever catch up on that. Having defeated the multiple rounds of Fatui, it's time to meet the Good Luck Bear. The Balladeer.
Release the rainbows!
As punishment for making her rescue us, at least that's how it feels, Yaimiko subjects us to 2 rounds of anti-Raiden Shogun training. This is now my 4th time doing this if you include my main account. Has it improved my ability to fight Raiden Shogun? No. But then again, I haven't died and needed to restart in that battle yet, so that's a plus. For the first round, I just ran around the little area, surfing when able, and did pretty okay, though I don't think that'd give me much advantage when fighting A. The second round was mostly carried by her weapon passive, and I'm starting to wonder how much harder this challenge would have been had I used literally any other weapon. Probably closer to how Wanderer only is going. Oh well, at least it's not max refinement. Successful at the anti-Raiden Shogun training, it's time to confront Kujo-Sara before we go find Sayu to get our final plan rolling. Oh wait, I think I made that joke already. Hold on, let me try that again. It's time to confront Kujo-Sara and then find Sayu so we can bounce into action. No? Okay. Returning to the Komori tea house with Sayu, we inform Toma and Ayaka of our plans and have a last supper in case things go south before we head to find Yoimiya.
You sure came to the right person.
Well, it was either you or Klee, and at least we know your fireworks won't cause a large-scale disaster. Probably. Fireworks in hand, we wait until nightfall and lay down the trap so Sayu can sneak inside the Tenryo Commission. And no, I still haven't healed Lumine from getting beat up during the prologue. Somehow, for the literal first time ever, I managed to get caught here. I didn't even think that was possible. The officer just turning around and waiting for me outside the tea house entrance was kinda messed up, but whatever. We nearly get caught again by the same guard, but this time it's entirely because of the wind currents provided to us. This kind of feels targeted, to be honest. Barely successful, we wait with Ayaka and Toma to see if the soldiers were too focused on me to notice her. Turns out that's exactly what happened because Sayu quickly returns with pretty much every document she could possibly grab, relevant or not. At least this means we don't need to return to the Infinity Castle to rescue her. With the proof in hand, we make our case to Kujo-Sara, who leads the way for us to the first of the 3 final battles in Inazuma. The first battle is 3 rounds, and the first 2 rounds could be described as less of a battle and more of a smackdown. The Tenryo officers didn't stand much of a chance against Sharky. The internal affairs head, however, was a bit complicated. The first problem was one we have unfortunately faced repeatedly in this challenge: her burst's aim. Genshin said they improved Sharky's aiming, but honestly, I haven't seen much of a difference. The second problem came from the fact that the internal affairs head kept moving outside of the primary fighting area, and obviously I can't exactly surf around all the furniture, so I spent a lot of time just awkwardly waiting around for him to come back to the open space. Luckily, him summoning other officers made my life much easier because I was able to charge up her skill faster with a large mob of enemies. Eventually, I beat all of them and finally finished off the big boss. Now, I felt very confident, probably overconfident to be honest, for my fight with Signora. The cryo round is obviously the easier of the 2 phases, so long as I make it through without getting frozen a bunch, and it should be relatively easy to take out the second pyro round since, well, basic science will tell you that water beats fire. The first round went exactly how I expected it would, easy, but the pyro round ended up being a lot more difficult. I realized there are two problems that Mualani has with this battle specifically. The first is that Signora tends to move around a lot, or turn into the fire tornado, or whatever, which you obviously can't attack. Or maybe you can, and I just never learned how to. She tended to do it as soon as I used Mualani's skill, which completely wastes it since the length of the fire tornado is longer than her Night Soul Blessing state. The second problem ended up being the same as Wanderer had, with her aiming tending to target the neutralizers instead of Signora herself. My initial confidence of thinking I wouldn't even need to use healing food was quickly humbled, but I still managed to beat her on the first try, so a grand victory for us. After the Harmony breaks into Tevat and gives us a very unsettling walk out of Tenchikaku, we meet with Kazuha and Goro. And friends. However, our meeting was cut short because apparently when Raiden Shogun said she would allow us to leave Tenchikaku alive, she meant only Tenchikaku. My question is, if she was able to just slice through time and space and take us out here, why didn't she just do that prior to this? We managed to return to A's plane of Euthymia, and after talking gets us nowhere, it's time for our final battle of Inazuma. As always, I'll leave it for you guys to watch without my yapping. If you guys would prefer me yapping during these final battles, do let me know though.
Let's shred, Sharky! Off we go. Need a surfboard? Carving waves!
Evasion is futile.
Surf's up! Oh!
Lightning falls on the land of eternity.
Oh! Oh, what's the surfboard?
Instabilities will be removed. I will mold you into the foundations of eternity.
Off we go.
Surely you don't think your ambition alone is enough to shake A's will, do you? Though you alone are here, they too have ambitions, which they long since entrusted to you.
Need a surfboard? Let's ride!
All will be severed.
Oh, chill out!
Your verdict is decided.
Catch an epic wave! Off we go! Oh!
With A admitting defeat and the nation freed from the Vision Hunt decree, we've officially completed the Inazuma Archon quest. Next, let's head back to Liyue to start the Dainsleif quest. That's too much of a tongue twister for me to try and say at this point in the recording. Catherine tells us to go find
A minor.
So off to the Chasm we go. We speak with the commissioner and the teleport waypoint automatically unlocks. Thank you, Genshin devs. So we head down to the mines to investigate. And wherever the Abyss Order operates, we can always expect to find a certain half-mask wearing blonde to appear. Reunited with Dainsleif, not quite the blonde Lumine was looking for, but whatever works. We agree to work together to investigate the chasm. Surfing proves a little difficult with the rocky chasm terrain, but I can assure you it will not be the worst thing we encounter down here. We take on the first round of the Black Serpent Knights, and I'm starting to think that I should have made a counter for how many times Mualani's burst misses during this challenge. It borders on painful. Maybe we should have called Dainsleif up during the Natlan quest. It's time for the second of the 3 rounds fighting the Black Serpent Knights, but this time at least Mualani's burst actually hits the target. It feels like the targeting tends to do worse the smaller the space is, though I don't know why it would feel the need to target a wall. The third round of Black Serpent Knights has 3 enemies instead of 2 like the previous rounds, which helps Mualani's skill charge up much faster and makes the battle all in all go by with a lot less pain. We meet Halfdan, well, sort of, and Dainsleif does some lore dropping about Conry area, the curse, and the hilly trails. I don't think we can use any of this to explain the problem to the guy who commissioned us, but fascinating nonetheless. We reached the water pool at the center of the inverted city, and I still think this area is one of the coolest locations related to the Abyss, and I'm glad it's a place you can permanently visit, as opposed to the defiled statue from We'll Be Reunited. After checking out the hilly trail camp and having a flower-induced, vision, we start to head back to the inverted city and are confronted by the Abyss Herald. Oh yay. I wish I could fully express how much this battle made me hate everything. Not only did the small space make it incredibly hard to dodge, but Mualani's weapon passive did practically nothing at chipping down at his elemental shield phase. This whole battle took me practically 10 minutes. Most of that time was just slowly cutting down at his shield. At one point I tried to see if the wind balloon bombs would do anything, and spoiler alert, still no. After what felt like centuries of suffering, we move on and return to the water pool while I go outside and touch some snow-covered grass. The grass may be frozen and dead, but so is my will to live after that battle. The next fight we have is against the Abyss Lector, who is much easier to fight with Mualani's electrocharged reactions. Thank God. Unfortunately, I couldn't get too excited because I knew what my next obstacle was, the Abyss Mages. Now, trauma reminds me that 3 of the 4 rooms have a Pyro Abyss Mage in the mix. This is good in this situation with Mualani. However, I know that at least one of those rooms has a Hydro Abyss Mage as well. The problem, if any, lies in the fact that there is one room that I can't remember. It has an Electro Abyss Mage, and the other is either Cryo or Hydro. Let's all pray for my sanity's sake that it's Cryo. The first room is the Cryo and Pyro Mages. Obviously, it's much easier to break the Pyro Mage's shield than the Cryo, but it's honestly still preferred to the Hydro Mage, so a win's a win. Sharky is able to break the charging devices, so this is still something we can do without assistance. Up next is the Pyro and Electro Mages. This room proved surprisingly difficult, but probably in part is me being overconfident again. The Electro Mage's ring is surprisingly effective against Mualani, and combining that with Mualani's struggle with interrupting enemies, well, it could have definitely been worse, but it also could have been much better. We eventually destroy the second device, so on to the third room. This next room will either be a Pyro and Hydro Mage, or an Electro Mage, and possibly Cryo, possibly Hydro. Regardless, these next 2 are probably going to be a bad time. Okay, great, so there's only one Hydro Mage. Honestly, that's tolerable. I decided to just get the Electro Mage out of the way first, since it definitely does more damage and is harder to dodge. After that, it's just a matter of avoiding the falling ice crystals and trying my best to not get frozen. Heavy on the trying. Eventually, though, we break the shield, defeat the Cryo Mage, and then it's time to go battle one of my mortal enemies in this challenge, the Hydro Abyss Mage. The Pyro Abyss Mage was obviously not much of a problem this time, and truthfully I probably should have let it live a little bit longer to light the grass on fire and give me a shot at breaking the Hydro shield that way. Just like with the Abyss Herald, the biggest section of this fight was dealing with the shield and waiting for the weapons cooldown. Well, and running from these bubbles. Eventually we destroy the shield, and oh man, was it so satisfying beating up the Abyss Mage. Returning to Dainsliff, we wrap up the Chasm quest, meaning next we'll be headed to the Nation of Wisdom, Sumeru. Well, after Mualani gets to AR 35 and ascends to level 70. However, we'll save that for next time. Thank you all so much for your patience waiting for this installment. As I've said, I'm getting much better with editing speed and script writing, so I expect videos will come faster than once every fortnight. Special shout out to my channel members, and if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe and hit the little bell so you're notified when I upload a video. Until next time!